Hello and welcome to another Black Authors Book Show presentation. I am your host, self-published author and publisher Larry Montgomery, Sr. This is a live streaming podcast presented on both Facebook and YouTube, sponsored by the Authors Corner. Online, a production of the Montgomery Media Group TV. This program is sponsored by the Authors Corner. Online, a production of Montgomery Media Group TV. Video replay is available on YouTube, the African American Shopping Network channel. Comments may be sent via email to montgomerybusiness@hotmail.com.
Hello there. This is Larry Montgomery Sr., the publisher of Selfish, The Case of the Deadly Journalist. Let me tell you a little bit about the book. Selfish is defined as concerned exclusively or excessively with oneself, seeking or concentrating on one's own advantage, pleasure, or well-being without regard for others. The definition of sociopath: someone who behaves in a dangerous or violent way towards other people and does not feel guilty about such behavior. Now, about our protagonist. A young girl decides the kind of life she wants to live, and then seeks out and goes after a man to fulfill her every dream. When the one she selects reveals he is married with a child, she convinces him to divorce his wife and abandon their only son. Once she has total control of him, she steals his identity, the identity of his ex-wife, and the identity of his ex-wife. She runs up enormous debts under each of their names and takes out substantial life insurance policies on both of them, including the young son. Then, as if finishing a bottle of water, she throws them away. First, by killing the ex-wife, then hiring someone to kill her husband. When she leaves town with her pickings, she leaves the young son without an inheritance, and that is when Marshal Harry Bailey is drawn into the madness. Once Marshal Bailey is drawn in to the case against her begins to mount up, with body after body marking her trail until a failed full identity makeover threatens to cover her tracks for good. Finally, a freak turn of events exposes her real identity, and everyone asks the question: will Marshal Bailey take down the selfish, deadly journalist? Now that kind of gives you an overview of the book.
You are experiencing America's only live streaming showcase for Black authors online. This is the Black Authors Book Show, a presentation of the Authors Corner. The Black Authors Book Show is looking for Black authors to showcase their latest projects and get the word out about their book. We will put you in front of 2 million readers with each podcast for less than you pay for lunch. Hooray, and schedule your live book show today. Email us at montgomerybusiness@hotmail.com.
And we are back. This show is sponsored by the Authors Corner. Online and is a production of the Montgomery Media Group. To subscribe and support our efforts, email us at montgomerybusiness@hotmail.com. Thank you and God bless.
I want to continue with chapter 1, entitled Meet the Harrises. This is the novel Selfish, written by Larry Montgomery Sr. Selfish, The Case of the Deadly Journalist. Chapter 1, Meet the Harrises. Alice got up early that fateful morning and immediately wrote the following in her journal. Dear Journal, this is my plan to live a great life. When she finished writing her plan, she closed the journal entry with this statement: I know I can change my life for the better if I just keep focused, and that is exactly what I'm going to do. Later that day, when 19-year-old Alice Beth Marshall got out of her friend's car and closed the door behind her, she turned around and said, "Megan, he loves me better than his old wife. So there." Then Megan got out of the driver's side door of the car and said to Alice as she walked up the driveway to her parents' house, "Alice Beth Marshall, you are making a big mistake. That online dating thing is going to get you killed. You don't know what kind of people you will meet on there. And if you do get killed, I won't be coming to your funeral. I swear." Then Megan got back into her car and drove off. Alice continued on and went inside, and as she passed her mother, who was seated in the living room watching television, she said, "We had a great time in church today, Mom. Pastor Thomas said feel better, and he hopes to see you next Sunday morning." Alice's mother responded and said, as she sat the can of Budweiser down on the coffee table in front of the television, "It will be a cold day in hell before I come back to that godforsaken church, and that octopus arm so-called preacher, he's going to hell in a handbasket, mark my words." Alice hurried to her room and turned on her computer while she changed clothes. Alice took off her pink and white two-piece suit and hung it up as the computer finished warming up. By the time she squeezed her size 18 body into her size 12 tank top, she could hear her Facebook alerts her Facebook alerts ringing off the hook. She laid across her bed and put a laptop on her desk chair that was just high enough for the laptop spy cam to see her face and down her blouse, and opened up her Facebook page and began checking her messages. Alice knew the only way she was going to have the kind of life she dreamed of was to marry an older man and let him take care of her. She believed the older, the better. That way she would not have to spend much time with him and more time spending and enjoying his money. Coming up in a small town was hard enough, but not finishing high school and having two small children with two different bad boy types who turned out to be prison bait left her few options. Alice felt that she had to find someone quick before she and her body began to show all of the wear and tear it has already been through at such a young age. As she checked her messages, and one message caught her eye. It was from Will Kick Ass. So she opened it and read it. The message was short and to the point. It said, "Hi, good looking. You looking for some fun, some real fun?" Alice had been chatting with Will Kickass for a few weeks now, and he had been very careful not to rush anything. He never commented on his status and his desires, just simply wrote cliches and thought-provoking statements to give her a sense of his sophisticated character and mindset. Now, after her blow-up with Megan earlier that morning, when Alice explained to Megan that she was already attracted to Will Kickass and had planned to marry him if he fit the mold she had in her mind, this time she was really ready for him. She had given some of his earlier comments some thought and felt that she was ready to open up a door for him. So Alice responded and said, "Yes, can you handle it?" Will Kickass quickly responded back and said, "Let's meet up." Alice hit back and said, "My place or yours?" It took a few minutes, but when Will hit back again, he said, "What if you howl at the moon?" Alice hit back and said, "Check these out." And she turned on her laptop cam and showed from her nose down to her bedspread, keying in on her bosom. Will responded with a headshot of his own. Alice hit back and said, "Wrong head, LOL." Will hit back an embarrassed smiley face and showed his face in real time. Then Alice hit back and said, "Well, I'm impressed. When and where?" Will hit back, "I'm in New York City at Radio City Music Hall. The show starts in 3 hours." Alice said, "Hope you enjoy the show. I'm in Miami, Florida, getting ready to go to the beach. See you never?" Suddenly, the connection was disconnected. Alice waited a whole hour for Will to return, but he never did, so she went on with her day. I'm going to stop right there because it's going to get a little hot and heavy from here on out. Thank you. That was an excerpt from Selfish, The Case of the Deadly Journalist by Larry Montgomery Sr. You can find a copy of it online at theauthorscorner.online. That's theauthorscorner.online, or email me at montgomerybusiness@hotmail.com. That's montgomerybusiness@hotmail.com.
You have just experienced America's only live streaming showcase for Black authors online. This is the Black Authors Book Show. Join us again next week right here. This show was sponsored by the Authors Corner.online and is a presentation of the Montgomery Media Group TV. To subscribe and support our effort, please email us at montgomerybusiness@hotmail.com. Thank you and God bless.